Good evening, everyone. It is day two of the WCOAP. It is Monday night. Leigh, we're going to be following a couple of events to completion tonight, and we're not alone, right? Let's bring the team in.
We're not alone at all. So warm welcome to Tom Bacon and Dan Williams, our PL08 experts for the night.
Evening, guys.
Sit back, Des, relax. These boys have got this completely in hand. Nothing to worry about in the slightest. And what we really need to do, Des, is we do need to jump straight into this PL08 table because
there we go.
It's absolutely flown by. We left this last night, or actually probably was last night just about with this one. 16 runners left. They've absolutely flown through them since 8 o'clock, and we are down to the final four. We've just lost one of our heroes, for first day. Well done to you. But we are down to 4, so we are on the medal bubble here, guys, with a massively significant chip leader in Artem Vozilinov from Kazakhstan. He's just Artem from now on. So he's got just over 8 million chips in play. Anthony Foy from the UK, second in chips. Our very own Tony Ross, Ilfracombe's finest, is there in third place. And Scott Highfield from the UK makes it the final 4. One of these 4 is going to miss out on a medal, unfortunately. But they're all guaranteed now, $495. It then goes $722 for third, just over $1,000 for second place, and $1,454 up top. So, guys, can we see past Artem taking this down and picking the gold medal here? First one of the night.
I mean, you don't really want to be shipping a medal all the way to Kazakhstan, right? That's got to cost you guys some dollars. So, I mean,
it's okay. We sent them 2 at a time, Leigh, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, with a stack this large, I'd be very surprised if things go Pete Tong. I mean, obviously in a split pot game, it can be a bit laborious to watch because nobody seems to scoop. But I'd be very surprised if this guy doesn't walk away with it right now.
Yeah, so he sat on, what's he got here? About 140 bigs. To be fair to both the Tonys, well, Anthony's, are both on 35, 40 bigs. That's not a small stack at this point in the tournament. They don't need to kind of go too crazy. Are you talking about looking to target Scott to guarantee a medal here, or are you looking about trying to keep Scott in and see if you can attack each other at this point?
I think in this spot, especially with seat positions, they just need to avoid Artem as much as they can. And if that means they go to bat with each other, then so be it. Again, it's a split pot game, so you can start to open up your ranges and take a little bit more of a risk, because there's obviously quite a high propensity of pots that get chopped up anyway. But really, we just need to be avoiding Artem and counter that. Artem just needs to be attacking every single spot here, really. He can, see, and there we go, another chop pot. But yeah, Artem can really start pushing ranges and sort of putting people under pressure, especially with a 15 big blind stack sort of sitting at the back. So be interesting to see how it develops. I don't know much about any of these players. So,
well, Tom, you played this yesterday. Are we allowed to? Is it soon enough for us to talk about how it went for you day one?
It was okay. I got a big stack pretty early on.
I saw you near the top of the leaderboard early on in the
it was
hours.
A little bit of a donation. Someone, to be kind, maybe lost their mind with aces, I would say.
Okay.
But I actually lost a really big part against Scouse. I think he'd literally just redged with like 20 bigs or something, and got it on the turn. I had top 2, and he had a wrap and flush draw, and he had a better low than me as well. Well, he had a better low draw than me, but there was no low on the turn, so he rivered a flush and a low to scoop. And then that put me down to kind of like 20 bigs or so, and then just blinded away from there, I think.
Okay. So just see a hand there again, chopped up, chip leader against the short stack. So Scott lives to fight another day. Should just mention to everybody, if you're out there watching and fancy playing, event number 3 started at 8 o'clock tonight, late reg till just after 10 it'll be. It's a $55 buy-in, and it is a 6 max, no limit hold'em 6 max with a whopping $25,000 guarantee in that one. I think both of our guests entered this Only one of them may still be playing it.
Potentially, that might be. Tom, are you still in? Are you still in, Tom?
Yes. So, presuming
it-
you aren't.
there might be a chance that I am not in. Sadly, top 2 bear does not beat top set, which I've learned today, which is good. You know, always a school day. Yeah, but never mind.
Yes, not a lot you can do about that, unfortunately.
Oh, I could do a lot more than what I did, I'm sure. But
yeah,
I think sadly, when you cold 4-bet in 6 max and then flop top 2, you're not doing much but putting in the money. But it's fine. I'm being generous. I'm letting somebody else win some money today, so we're okay.
Nothing.
But I think it's going to overlay quite a bit, guys. I don't know what your thoughts of that are, but
yeah, it's not great, but I would tend to agree that I think that could well be possibly the case on a Monday night. We need 500 runners. We're at 237 now with about another hour of late reg. So there's going to be some super value in there if you want to get in there and play. As I said last night, anybody can win a 6 max comp. It's really not difficult to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So just get in there and give it a go if you.
I know the APAT stalwarts are going to hate this, but let's open re-entry. I'll fire another bullet. Just leave re-entry open. Unlimited bullets. I'll sort that out. Don't worry.
I can't afford that, so I'd rather you didn't.
I can't really, but the wife can't hear, so it's
you're saving all your bullets for Goliath, aren't you, Tom? That's the plan, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's because Tom pretty much funds Goliath. They couldn't get to the guarantee without Tom's effort.
Sounds expensively.
Yeah.
It's just nice to play every day,
Just
make the most of it.
Whilst you're there, once you booked your week off in
yeah.
Coventry, you might as well make the most of it. Yeah, absolutely. So how low does I mean, we've obviously seen this with PLO8 in the past. Players have gone right down to sort of 5 or 6 bigs. Not worried about it. I mean, from Scott's point of view here, is it absolute premium that he's going to shove with? Other than that, he's just going to let it go. He's likely to get called off by Artem pretty lightly. Yeah. So has he got enough stack there to go at both the Anthony's, both the Tonys?
He needs to be going at them. Like we have to remember, because it's pot limit, he can only bet pot at any given street, right? So it's unlike Hold'em, where you've got 11 big blinds and you can decide to put all of those tokens in the middle in one action. Here you can only put in what's in the pot. So it becomes quite difficult, because Artem's tactic versus Scott, especially in position, should be pretty straightforward, of just peeling like a large percentage of his range, because then he gets to decide when he wants to really push the equity. Whereas against the other two, it's a bit different for them versus Scott's smaller stack, because they 3.5 big blinds out of Tony's stack, for example, is actually considerable versus Artem. So really, he needs to be pouncing on the opens from the 2 middle stacks and just accepting that Artem's going to kind of call quite wide pre in position, and he's going to have to be confident to be committed. So I think he should be broadening his range a little bit versus Artem. He doesn't need ace deuce. He can run with like ace 5, queen, king, queen with a suit and things like that, and just be confident to get it in versus quite a wide range, which is what Artem will be.
And Artem is doing what a wonderful tip that I picked up during lockdown when we had James Leigh on the show, and I hadn't really ever given it massive thought, which just shows how naive my poker knowledge is. As Artem's all in against Scott, he is Scott at risk, and that's going to be that, and we're going to lose Scott. So we have our medalist, which is Artem as the chip leader. Is you kind of go at the other two to get them down to a point without doing the short stack, which means then when it gets to 2-handed or 3-handed, you're now such a chip leader. You're in just such a dominant position now. I mean, what do these two guys do now? Is it a case of just trying to get those chips in and get a double up?
Yeah, I think. You've got to look at the size of it's 11 million plays 1.5 plays 1. This is the point where, even though it's a $700 swing from first to third, I think the players that win tournaments regularly in these situations start applying pressure now. Don't hold on just to squeak heads up and then hopefully run well. Look at that.
Tony Foe's there. And that's
There we
another
go.
one bust. Well, this
Wow.
could be over pretty quick here. This
Bloody
could
hell!
be,
What's happened, lads?
we've
I've
lost,
never seen a split pot game not have any split pots.
Anthony Foe is going to finish in third place. He's going to pick up the bronze medal and $722, which means I mean, this is such a chip lead here for Artem. I mean, you just kind of think it's just get it in with any 4 cards, and you're going to win one of the next 3 or 4, aren't you? Surely, and that's enough.
I think at this stage it becomes PLO and not PLO 8, right? You need to ignore the fact that we can split. You just got to play your strong high hands. If you've got a bit of low equity, brilliant, but you know, you've got to qualify for the low. You always qualify for the high hand in PLO 8. There's always a high hand by the river. There's not always a low hand. So now we just need to really start ramping up the aggression and get some chips in and ride those 60-40 equity spots like now. Oh,
Here we
and that's
go.
it.
That's
Going
no.
to be it's chopped
Wow.
up. Was it 2 pair, wasn't it? Yeah, in the end,
Yeah.
2 pair. Yeah.
I always struggle with party because the showdowns are so quick that I often just
Yeah.
don't even see what people had.
Yeah, you should have. If you want to laugh, go back and watch the first ever APAT show we did, where we did comms on a PLO 8 game, and Des and I did it. It was hilarious. It really is. And that one is it this time round. It was effectively Jacks versus Queens, and that was good enough. And so we've got our first winner of the WCOAP 2022, and it's a gold medal going to Kazakhstan, Des. Hey,
well, there we go.
Would it be an online WCOAP if we weren't sending a medal to Kazakhstan?
This is true. I shall be doing the national anthem in a mankini later on tonight. We should lose as our audience. I'm pretty convinced. Right, Leigh, there's no time to waste, right? We're going to go somewhere else now.
Yeah, we are. Just quickly setting up. So we're actually still got 2 tables going in the bounty that started last night. They are down to 10 players, so they're playing hand for hand for the final table at the moment. So, and it could be just as I thought we might have had it there with. So we got Ben Sweetman on this table. There's a name you should recognise from the past. Currently sat there with 70 bigs. There's currently a hand going on the other table, 2 of the shorter stacks, Gilherme from Brazil and Peter Denley from the UK. 11, so it was 8 bigs in the middle, so just under half a pot-sized bet from Gilherme, and that's enough to take it down. Nice. There's a few sort of Abid Rahman is there with only 12 bigs on that table as well. Peter's got 16, Gilherme's got 21. Obviously, Miroslav has got 120 bigs, so he's comfortable. And I would say Andre on that table as well with 48 bigs is not going to get too involved until we hit a final table. So we'll keep an eye on both of these tables. If we see an all-in, which you say they're playing hand for hand whilst we get to this final table of 9, and then we can follow the action down to conclusion with that one. So.
Well, listen, we should say a big well done to Tony Ross, a perennial leaderboard leader on his silver medal there. I mean, what a great start to the series. Mr. Consistent has done it again in event number 1. Is he going to be the standard bearer for the player of the series sort of over the duration? I guess that's got to be one of the questions. In the chat box, Leigh, Simon Lawler, rather excited. Evening, watching on YouTube TV. So, hello to Simon on his big TV at home, I hope. Mr. Alston is there. Evening with several smiles. What about his short guest spot on the show last night? Came on, played a hand, busted, and smiled.
It was a proper APAT show Super Bowl. The highest order. It really was. Yeah.
Triplin is out there as well. Evening all, early night here. Busto the Six Max already. What a great tournament that Six Max is. Can't believe we're having so many early bustos from the legends. Eddie Niascu's there as well. Good evening to you, Eddie. So guys, if you're out there, say hello and we will name check you. One such player, one Mr. Adam Neal. He's become a bit of a celebrity in a number of fields in recent months. Leigh is up there. Sup, lads? What a bunch of legends on tonight. Indeed, they are. Indeed, they are. We've got to get Adam on some night, Leigh.
It's been a while since we've had Adam on the show.
Brilliant
actually.
when Adam was on.
Definitely
crikey.
get Adam back on.
Is he not in Vegas at the moment?
Might well be.
He just lives that celebrity life at the moment.
He's on holiday at the moment.
I was going to say dedication.
That could be Vegas though, couldn't it? Yeah. So.
No. He's definitely with the family. I spoke to him last week. He's with the family first. He's doing the responsible thing.
Could still be Vegas.
The degenerate thing.
So Dan's in the chat saying, Dan out of 10, we go for a double bock at about 12:45 a.m.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
That feels about. But I would imagine if you're still going at 12:45 a.m., you will be in the money. I would have thought tonight in this Six Max, because we do comfortably get in the money before we hit day 2. It roughly brings back about 10% of the field, and we pay sort of top 15. So you'll be comfortably in the money before the end of the play tonight, and it should end around. I think it's level 26 again tonight. So. It should be, let's just double check that. Yeah. So you should be 1 o'clock or thereabouts. You might just get in before 5 to the break and miss that one, or you might be about 30 seconds after 1 o'clock, but that's roughly when it'll be.
Nice. Leigh, Tony the Gloss Ross is in the chat box. Evening all. Gutted it wasn't gold, but pleased with the start. And why wouldn't he be? Pleased with that. Adam's come back. I'm in Turkey at the moment, enjoying the show from the hotel room. Hey, Dan. Sounds familiar, right? Hey, Dan.
Hey, behave.
Fantastic. Turkey. He's in Turkey and he's watching the bloody APAT show. Lads, above and beyond. He's above and beyond, I have to say. Super.
So, little raise from Georgie here. Only say not much, but Ben Sweetman's made the call from the big blind. Both got reasonable stacks, so I don't think they're going to get too frisky at this point in the tournament. Although it is only hand for hand for the final table, which to some players doesn't mean anything whatsoever. It is a slight money jump, but it's not anything. Actually, is it money jump? Yes, it is. It is about $70, but to some players it doesn't mean anything at all. Really, it's just about continuing on in the tournament.
Oh wow! What a
heroed
call
that
by
with
Georgie. Heroed it with ace-9.
Wow.
On that board as well. That board is like screaming big blind defend. Fair play. Oh, but we'll never know. Was that just a lucky click of the button, or was that thought out?
I think that was thought out, wasn't it?
I guess he knows Ben's going to be putting a lot of pressure on when he's got a big stack against kind of a medium stack at this stage. So, but I mean, that's still.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
it's to avoid the heart.
He's done
and that's going to be Cyril gone. And that will then be us down to our final.
Fantastic.
Final 9.
Fantastic. Listen, Adam's just come back again. 3-year-old is asleep, can't head out. We'll get involved in the end of the WCOAP Online this week and then see you all at dusk. So that's fantastic.
Excellent. Bear with me 1 second, Des, and I will have the final table up for you as quick as. And we're good whenever you are.
There we go.
Here we go then. So we've got a serious
bloody hell.
Serious amount of chips on this table, quite deep. Big chip leader in Miroslav from Germany. Who are we fancying here, guys?
Miroslav's got a great seat because he's got position on all the other big stacks and all the short stacks was left. So you probably have to say he's in the best position by far here.
I'm just going to prick the Brazilian because, he's Brazilian. I'm going for Andre Carrora. Come on, Andre.
Listen, he can't be Brazilian if he's got 2 names. So just make up your mind. Which one are you going to call him, Dan?
Steve. I'm going to call him Steve. Come on, Steve.
Steve, I think Steve makes perfect sense.
That's probably the most expensive medal to send as well. So,
yeah. We sent a few to Brazil last year. Yeah, but it's Tom has to save his pennies to be able to get down to the post office for those ones. So. We're always happier when it's somebody that says, "Oh, I'm going to be at Dusk Till Dawn next week," and we go, "Great, not a problem whatsoever. That's the postage money saved." Yeah, excellent.
Sign me up.
So So, Des, I've noticed that a lot of people are playing the tag team as a single person event this year at the
That
series.
sounds absolutely bizarre. What the hell is going on there?
Are you going to kind of withhold one of the bracelets if somebody wins that way,
that's a
so you
great
can
idea.
recycle it for next year? Yeah,
Well, they're not getting
for
2
next year.
bracelets. No chance.
Have we ever
Well,
had a
so
player
why
win
not?
2 bracelets in one event, Lee? Probably not.
No,
Well, why
that would
not?
be that would be a first. Yeah, it would probably outdo Ace's 2 bracelets in one day, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
quite impressive.
Mm.
Would be quite impressive to say the least. So in this one now, so blinds are 80,000, 160,000. Average stack is 7.8 million chips. So say this, most players are pretty deep here, really, aren't they? You've only got a couple of players that are well below the 20 bigs. Other than that, everybody else is sitting quite pretty. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I think your average stack's 39 big blinds at the moment. So I think Tom alluded to the seat draw, which is gross for everybody, bar Miroslav, but it really puts some of these guys in tight spots. So Andre, Histro, Ben, Georgie, all of them need to really lock up and pick their spots, because I think they're going to get exploited quite easily if not. Although saying that, Georgie causes with ace nines. I'm just open. Right. So I just want to go back. Tom, can I just go back to my point?
Fix.
Can I go back to my point about the ace nine? Now what do we think after seeing this?
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this is.
Speaking of the tag team, I see Stefan Roda is in the chat. Good evening
there
to
he is.
you. Looking forward to seeing you at Dusk Till Dawn. Regularly turns up to play the world champs and has got a pretty decent success rate. I sent Dan his Stefan's Hendon mob the other week, which is absolutely just full of WCOAP caches and medals and bracelets. Yeah, superb.
Yeah, Stefan's winning us the tag team event while I'm doing other things. I'm really excited. Well, Steph. I'll be in the mix max. Over in the other side of the room, like playing terribly, and he's promised me he's going to win me a bracelet. So credit where it's due.
That's more bad news from a good old APATer. Hi guys, managed to kill a good 12 minutes in the Six Max tonight. Lol, played a blinder. Billy Johnston. Unlucky.
I'm not being funny, Tom. I think should we just give you the bracelet now, because you appear to be the only person I know who's still in it. Is anybody else actually playing it? Or
can we wait till at least gone midnight to bock me?
Yeah,
that's okay.
Okay.
It's a good point. Well made.
No,
yeah.
Why would you want to be booked that late at night? Just get booked now.
I might
get to bed.
I might get into the money first. You never know.
Yeah, money. Forget the money. Just think, Tom. Just think.
Just the min cash would be fine.
They come in. Hey, and remember, guys. So we're not giving away one of these, but I don't know if you've seen these. This is the bracelet for 22. So the online main will win one of those, and if you happen to win the main at DTD, you get one of these. Very nice it is too. Good times.
And of course, a rather tasty £3,300 UK Millions seat on top of the main event winner as well.
That's pretty crazy.
Which
That's
is pretty nice. I mean, I'm reckoning the prize pool will be somewhere up around 50k. So from a cash point of view, you might be close to maybe 10 up top, maybe something like that.
So probably doubles the difference between first and second.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would imagine the difference between that will be with the seat on top will make it very, very nice indeed. And of course, it's also just as much as it's the experience of getting to go and play that kind of comp. So UK Millions is such a big event. Getting to just go and experience that if you haven't is in itself is well worth doing.
Just lost Ace King against Ace Jack for 65 big blinds, so immediate bock. Thanks very much.
Oh wow, crikey, we are good, aren't we? Yeah.
Sorry about that, Tom.
It's okay. Was expected.
I thought I was upset. I just had ace king into ace king into ace king into kings. Didn't win. Didn't win, but
It's quite
not
hard to
how.
win from there.
Nice bit of
Yeah.
content for pokernews.com though, Dan, right?
I even had 2 flush draws. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, Dan Austin has a technical question for us, Leigh.
Yeah.
It's quite ironic as it happens. He says, what is the actual gold content, please? As last year, cashforgold.com returned my bracelet. Well, ironically, the APAT gold bracelet for the winner of the main is made of solid silver. Am I right? I think I'm right in saying that, Leigh, right?
So I looked this up properly because I got sent the proper description of it by our friend Kev from Aspire Jewelry, and so this was his exact description for it. He said the main event bracelet is solid silver with an 18-karat gold vermeil set with Austrian crystal. It's like, this isn't any world champion. This is a Marks and Spencer's world championship bracelet. Kind of like. Yes, so it's an 18-karat gold vermeil. So which I think is basically means a bath. Pretty much, it's solid silver, and then it gets dipped in gold. It's pretty much how it works. So
that's what happens.
But it's unique. They are every year the main event bracelet is made designed from scratch and molded up and say it's. Then all put together. It takes a number of weeks from a team up in the Midlands that do look after this for us. So every one of those main event bracelets is completely unique.
That's right. A young child pulls a bucket of gold out of the Appalachian Mountain Dew, and that gold is then worked on by a small village before it reaches. Where does Kevin live? Leicester.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did hear a rumor that Chris Webber put all of his APAT bracelets together when he needed to replace his fan belt in his car last time. and it worked really well, supposedly. So
Yeah, they're good quality. I tell you what, they are good quality.
Never let you down.
Also, it makes me think they're not really gold or silver, otherwise they'd melt in the heat. But it is what it is.
But this is not back in the days when when Dave Howard won and it was a Mickey Mouse bracelet. Des designed that one. I think I don't. So you wouldn't expect to know this, Tom, but Des, he's one for his bling. Oh, if he can put some coloured crystals and stuff on something, he'll do it. He doesn't miss an opportunity. You wouldn't have thought it, would you?
Oh, I can't believe that. Can't believe that.
He usually goes for his annual vajazzle as well.
Steady on, please. Look, we weren't going to tell anyone about that, Dan. I tell you what, I remember you go back 10 years. I remember walking around DTD with a picture of a bracelet, just getting a feel from people as to whether, in fact, they'd ever, be willing to accept that as a prize. It wasn't entirely clear cut, but we went ahead anyway.
I must admit, I will quite happily say when we first discussed it, I was dead against it and said, what's the point in that? I don't think players will go for it. And now you just realise how much the players absolutely love it. I remember back in the day, I think we had an event at Swansea and TK managed to get hold of James Dempsey's WSOP bracelet. Yeah. And was kind of walking around the room showing that off to people. And I couldn't kind of see the. I mean, I got a bracelet for that comp that I won.
What have you done with yours, Leigh? Does it
just sat on the shelf?
Yeah, but you hold on now. Hold on. When you say sat on the shelf, is it like displayed?
No, not really. I
don't want to back there.
I don't want to go and get it because I don't. If I go and get it, I've got a funny feeling it's probably fine that it's all rusted up. I've not opened it for a long time.
Go get it. Come on, Leigh. Get it. The audience want to see. Here we go. Who wouldn't want to see this?
I mean, where's the big trophy that he won? Why is that not on display?
Look at that. Nice box.
It is ever so slightly dusty. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Look at that.
Yeah, the trophy's actually much nicer. But yeah, the trophy's much nicer.
I'm pretty sure. Nice. I'm pretty sure the 100K was even nicer, right?
I had to give some of that away, so it wasn't great, really. Yeah,
Did you like the people you gave it away to, though?
Well, was okay, but he built a bathroom with it, so it's kind of a little bit of feels a bit of a waste. But if you've ever been to Paul Haycock's house and need to use the loo, I mean, apparently it's awesome. It's really well worth it.
Every time we pee there, we'll think of you, Leigh.
So.
So Mr. Alston is out there. So what is APAT's stance on modern slavery? No, I'm not going there. A Triplin says, can we not knock the main event bracelets, please? Thank you very much. Of course, Triplin has one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Triplin has one. When was that? 2014? It's got to have been 2014. Or 2015, maybe. Aspers.
Yeah. Well, do you know what was a great thing I did for Dan and Dan's team? Couple of weeks back, they just asked for some info on the WCOAP, just so they were putting they put together some amazing content for us over on Poker News, real good kind of like tasters and snippets of what's going on with the WCOAP. But I put together a little kind of info pack, and it was going back over the years of who won and where they won and how many runners there were, and which team events won that year and who was the captain that year, and I had to type Wales in quite a few times. It was interesting to go and see who won what, and sometimes you forget, say some of the winners, and over the years as time moves on, that we've been doing this for a little while now.
Do you know, ironically, and I've repeated it many times, but Tony Ross was the runner-up in the very first WCOAP main event, 2008 at the Victoria. I mean, it's insane that he's still doing it like tonight. It's incredible.
Yeah, he just moans that we don't feed him anymore. That's the only thing.
He's not even the best player in Ilfracombe. Never mind the world.
No, that's true. That is very true indeed. But yes, it's interesting. So we that was back in 2008, and of course I mentioned Dave Howard, who won a main event, but obviously Dave had a very successful time at the Vic back at the first ever one back in 2008.
He did. A very young looking Dave. Yeah.
I know, young and slim back in the day, wasn't he?
I wouldn't go that far.
Certainly not Batman-esque like he is now, but that's what we did, basically. We just inherited these players as soon as they won bracelets. Like Tristan joined Team Gotham. Once he won a bracelet, we were like, yeah, come on in. Build our roster. Make us look better. But yeah, Dave and Chris. I don't know who holds. There must be a stat of who has the most APAT bracelets. And England, like country ones, don't count because, so it goes. But I don't know who's got the most. Carl? Would it be Carl? I feel like Carl would have a handful of England ones, maybe.
No, because England have only got one. If we're talking WCOAP bracelets from when we actually did, because we only did bracelets in. Let's see, it could well have been Tristan's year. Might have been the first year we started doing a bracelet. Actually, that feels about right.
No,
I'm sure we did them when England won the team 2013.
So the last year we were at Dust Till Dawn. Then
I think
2013
might have been the first one.
So, but it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to know, because I reckon Gabby from Italy has probably got a fair few. Dory from Italy has certainly.
I think Webber's got 6, if I remember rightly.
He's won. Do you reckon he's won 6 events at WCOAP? I'm not sure whether that could be beaten.
Gabby would be the one to look up. We do have all of the data, and one Mr. John Murray is actually compiling and updating. He's been at that for a little while now. It's probably a thankless project, but it would be cool just to have that updated 16-year list of APAT's ranking events, points, bracelets, etc., to see who's atop the pile.
So I've just quickly looked. Webber's got 6 bracelets. Yeah. 6 bracelets. Yeah. So Webber's got 6. Yeah. Let's have a look at Dory.
Back of our earlier winners, Charles Mason won the second WCOAP, and then Ben Young. That was before. That was the first of Ben's titles, because then he won again in Newcastle. I think might have even been the following year, possibly. Certainly was very close to same year. When Dave Garden
that's right.
at Dusk Till Dawn as well. And a player I know very well, Eramis Livonis, who was on that bracelet I just showed you. He was the guy that bubbled the final table with the most extraordinary of hands. I think we've talked about it on the show before. You can go and look it up on YouTube if you want, but he showed his hand, and they had to make a ruling on it, and we were effectively on the false bubble for the final hand in 6, and his opponent got to make a decision on whether he wanted to make the call or not, or he had to make the decision. Sorry, his opponent showed his hand. He made the decision whether he wanted to make the call or not, and decided to call it off. Thought he had the numbers right to do it, and didn't get lucky, and was last seen at the roulette table.
So
yeah, but he had loads of equity. He had shitloads of equity, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
He was a degenerate. And the other thing was, if I remember rightly, for stacks, it was like the equity in those stacks were ridiculous. It would have put him like second in chips at the final table. He was a nutter though. He was an absolute degenerate. I remember that quite well.
Yeah, it was the one day where we sat in the bar afterwards. Most of the guys that had made the final table, Paul was on that final table as well. If you watch the playback on it, you'll see him very, very briefly. He's not on the final table for long. But I was sat at the bar. It's the one time where I've kind of sat there and we watched him at the roulette table, and I just thought, I don't know him well enough to want to go over and say, just come over here, because I think he won like 10 grand or something like that. To this day, I wish I'd kind of just had the balls just to go over and go, been playing poker with you. Come over and have a drink over here. I don't know whether he did all his money at roulette or not. I'm not sure.
Gee. Can you tell me, Leigh, who won the first? Who won the first WCOAP?
It was Nick Jenkins. Yeah, Nick Jenkins.
Do you remember Nick?
Mm.
Nick was a big blondite back in the day.
All aces versus kings here on this final table. Are we going to get diamonds? No, we're not. And we're going to lose Thomas in 8th place, picking up $386 plus 64 in bounties. So nice. And we're down to 7.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll run at Aspers. We did 3 years at Aspers. So Tristan picked up the first one there in 2014. Then Daniel Lewis picked it up in 2015. And then Andrew Dobson, who's I want to say a Newcastle guy. Oh, certainly, I think he's based in.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. So, and that was the same year that Scotland won the team event. That'll never happen again.
I think
that was a one-off blip in the whole thing. That one.
And Andy Dobson, if I remember correctly, might have been the first seriously blingy bracelet that we did.
Yeah, you needed to wear shades. I think that's why he was wearing shades on the.
Basically, everybody else had to wear shades when he put that on.
Yeah. So,
which year was the year where they put the absolutely ridiculously strong England team in, and they absolutely tanked with Paresh?
Basically, every year apart from 2013.
Yeah.
No.
Every single one.
No. This was the year that Paresh played. If you remember Paresh.
Paresh,
top PLO player, right? Paresh.
Yeah. Him and Perry used to battle those PLO comps like nobody.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Not Webber. Webber wasn't in the team, but somebody else was in the team. Oh, Dwayne Stacey was in the team, I think, if I remember rightly.
There's no pressure here, Tom, because obviously, I would say apart from 2013, England don't have a very good record in this in the WCOAP team event.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those stats where you say like, oh, Liverpool haven't won against so and so in 18 years, but the game 10 years ago has no bearing on the game today. So that's how I'm looking at it.
It's hilarious.
What's the format this year for the internationals? Because obviously it has sort of varied through the years.
Yeah, so this year we're 9 teams of 4 players, and we've got 3 rounds of effectively sit and go. So 3 phases of sit and goes, 2 on the first day and then 1 on the second day. They include so for the first day, there's a no limit hold'em table, a PLO table, a PLO 8 table, and then one of the players will play 2 heads up matches. in that phase against 2 of the other countries. That gets rinsed and repeated, say, for the second phase. Third phase is then 2 no limit hold'ems, a PLO and a PLO8, and then everybody plays an MTT at the end. So,
Okay.
All good. All good. We mentioned Aspers quite a lot there, Leigh. Tony G, who we last saw down at Aspers.
Yeah, we did.
Chatbox.
Yes.
Evening to you, Tony. And Triplin says WCOAP online last year. Games on the Hendon Mob, but not the results. We'll have to chase up on that.
It's a bit of a slight tricky one because we've got all the results.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of, they were on Party Poker, and there's a bit of a GDPR thing about what events can be brought over from online to Hendon Mob, and so we managed to get them all listed up on there. But there's always been this big saga over whether we can or can't be putting who's signed off to say they're quite happy to have their names put up there. When you play a live event, obviously that's all part and parcel with the venue, so it's never a problem. Whereas online, it's a little bit more tricky. But we have got all the results, so. At some point, we're hoping we're just going to be able to just get that in and put up, because there's some cracking caches from that that event. $800,000 we paid out across that series last year. So
phenomenal. Welsh online team star from last year, Greg Mawson, is out there. Format looks great for the team champs. He goes on to say, surprised you got 08 dealers. We've got more than 8 dealers, haven't we, Leigh? We've got more than 8.
Yeah, we're okay. We'll be good for dealers. Yeah, they've got 1 or 2 at Dusk Till Dawn that can deal more than just the kind of standard no limit hold'em. And what we've had to do, if you look at the schedule, we've had to just kind of move the schedule around a bit for the whole event to basically make sure they've got enough Omaha dealers when we need the Omaha dealers. They are training more of them up, as I explained last night. And I genuinely hope the venues will, over time, put a lot of time and effort in. It's just so sad that during lockdown, the amount of experienced, skilled dealers that have left the industry,
it's a shame,
and have just walked away with all that knowledge, all that know-how of how to deal all the different variants. Hopefully new dealers coming in and picking up the game and seeing it as a career for them, because it is a career. I mean, you can go and travel the world as a poker dealer. I'm not saying it's something you would necessarily want to do for your entire life, but there's plenty of people that will go and use it as a great way of seeing the world and going and dealing in lots of places. I hope they just get that, they put the time and effort into training them up. Very difficult though, because we're one of the few tours that say, hey, we want an 8 game and a horse game and a stud game and a Raz game. And, a lot of the time you go and look at any other outside of Vegas, any other tour, they just don't do it. They might throw in a Joker's Wild or a mystery bounty. And that's kind of, that's about as as exciting as it gets.
Oh, and by the way, let's stream open face Chinese. Yeah, let's do it.
When we decided we do that, what a great idea that was. I think we spent more time on the technicalities of how we could get cameras in place to do it, but we managed to do it. And I must admit,
great.
Again, if you ever want to go back and watch anything, Ian Witt's analysis and commentary on the open face Chinese that we did in Manchester back in probably 2017 or 18. It'll be on the YouTube channel. Go and dig it out. Ian was phenomenal. I just sat in absolute awe at his knowledge of that game and the way he was able to explain it to people. For a lot of people that hadn't even seen it before, and to watch it live was incredible. So
I think Ian, Dwayne, myself, Chris, Perry, Dave, the amount of money that we shipped around each other playing open face Chinese during that time was unreal. We used to have the app running all the time throughout the year when we weren't at APATs, just playing each other like 50p a point. And it sounds like nominal amounts of money, but there was like $1,000 point swings in all the games.
OMG.
It was pretty crazy.
Greg says in the chat, says, I think Brexit harmed the dealer numbers more than covered. I think, they're kind of, it's a one in the same thing, really. I think certainly Brexit meant that a number of maybe overseas dealers that were based in the UK decided to maybe head back home or relocate or whatever. But certainly the number of dealers, because you've got to remember, a lot of those dealers are freelance. They flip between different different tours and different events, and there certainly wasn't that sort of level of support for them from or even the hospitality trade in general during COVID. So yeah, sadly, it's a kind of a perfect storm of problems as to why we're in the situation we are for dealers. It's not just Dust Till Dawn, it's everywhere. Any venue we try to put events on at the moment, the first thing they say is, well, this is where we are with dealers at the moment. It's pretty much the number one discussion point. So we're getting there.
With that in mind, I think we just all have to be very grateful that you've got a week's worth of tournaments with 2 or 3 tournaments every day. Right? That's not easy. And I know the caps are quite small on some of the events as per previous years. Still don't understand the cap on the shootout. If anybody wants to explain that mathematics, I'll be really happy to understand it because I can't get my head around it. Do you know, Des?
No, I'm not the one to ask. At all, Dan, as you know, I'm the commercial guy.
What is the cap on the shootout out of interest?
180, and I can't figure it out. I've sat and tried to do the maths in my head.
20 tables of 9.
Yeah, but then you'd have 20 winners, 20... right? Yeah,
okay.
It doesn't work. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be 600. 6-handed.
No, it's going to be 10-handed.
It's definitely going to be 10.
Yeah, but then you only get 8. You get 18 winners. That doesn't work.
Yeah, and then you
go down to 2 9s, maybe.
Well, yeah, then you
then have heads up for the win. No,
and then you go down to 3 6s.
The only way I can see it working is 30 tables of 6 with 30 winners, and then you have 6 tables of 5 with 6 winners to have a final table of 6. That's the only math I can do that makes sense.
It's never going to get 180 runners, surely.
Of course it will. All of us losers that don't make day 2 will be in.
I think
3 o'clock.
Great event.
3 o'clock on a Sunday. It will do.
I'll be in even if I'm in day 2.
I must admit, I did ask when Tom sent that across to me. I did say, so what happens after round 1, Tom? And he said, well, we play a final,
play round 2.
I said, but have you seen how many will be coming back? I just left it with him. I just went, it's Tom will have a plan for it. I can guarantee you 100%. That. So.
I just can I ask a serious question though? When is the cash game tournament coming back?
Oh.
That was the best. That was the best.
Next year. It's coming back next year.
Okay.
It's got to. We had a lot of fun with that.
With the 8 game.
With the 8 game.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, definitely.
We're going to need a bigger boat, Lee.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you that for now. We're already looking at 2023. Even though we've got still a load of events to even announce to let you know about for 2022. And so I've got some exciting stuff to tell you about in the next month or so. Soon. Yeah, soon. It will definitely be soon. But we're already looking at 2023. And basically when we're looking at the worlds and where we're going to be, one of our biggest things, right, is, we need to have an 8 game on. We need to have some more of these variants back, and it could well be that we end up finding a venue that can do that as our number one priority, and therefore it might be that it's not in the UK this year. It could be in mainland Europe. It could be over the Atlantic. Who knows?
Let's take it to Vegas, Lee. Let's take it to Vegas.
There's lots of options. Des is very keen on getting to Vegas. I don't know why.
I want to go to Vegas.
I mean, Des wants to be in Vegas for November 2023. He's thinking would be a good time to do.
Viva Las Vegas!
Yeah,
let's do it, Lee. Let's do it.
You're not even realizing why I'm saying that, are you? You're not even putting 2 and 2 together.
Formula One, right?
Is it Des's 70th birthday?
Yeah. No, Formula One. Formula One in Vegas, November 2023.
Can you imagine those cars just roaring down the strip? Can you imagine the noise bouncing off those hotels? It's going to be absolutely fabulous. And I assume it's going to be a night race. I assume. Can you imagine the lights of Vegas? It's going to be stunning.
But don't they just go round and round? Isn't that what that racing is?
Largely, largely.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's not very exciting when you talk of it like that.
I'm not selling it, am I, Des? I'm not selling it.
When do you take up your marketing role with F1, Dan? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it won't be long.
Come for the weekend. You can watch cars go round and round. Honestly, it's it'll be great. Simon Lawler's coming up with a 18 times 10 handed, and then then 9 heads-up matches
Oh, I
with a
think
final. I mean, he's creating his own mix max
That's a
comp
mix
here,
max,
isn't
Don't
he?
know what he's done there. Don't know what he's done
creating
there.
his own mix max comp, I reckon.
I can't see them having 30 tables. That's what I would say. I think it'll probably be more than one person going through from each table, if I had to guess.
Oh, that's not a shootout though, is it?
Well, it's definitely happened. It's happened in previous years
Has it?
when they maybe didn't get enough tables to do one throughs, so they'd have like 6 tables or 5 tables, so they put 2 through from every table, so you get a final 10.
Wow.
So it's possible, but
I think the only year I played it, I came second on my table, so it obviously wasn't one of those years.
I think there's only one way to deal with this, Leigh. I think we should call Tom Brady. I think we should call him live. He's sat at home
Get him on.
Yeah,
with his dog on the couch, watching the old telly, a bit of Spring Watch. Is that still on, Spring Watch? He's watching a bit of Spring Watch. And suddenly, preep, 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 preep.
You won't even know what that is.
Who can this be? Oh, look, it's Des. He'll want a quick question. Too right, I've got a quick question for you, Tom. The listeners want to know.
So Simon's saying at Bury New Road, 2 went through. So that could well be the way it plays.
Greg says, see you next Thursday, lads. My first APAT event. Never played Omaha live, so hopefully a long shot clock will come and say hello to everyone, including Peter Wigglesworth. Oh, that's a treat, Greg. You will enjoy it.
Stuff.
You will enjoy
If you're turning up on Thursday, Greg, you will hopefully turn up to watch the Welsh boys do back-to-backs and pick up the team event bracelets as well for what would be their 5th win, I think. If they
have an insane record in that event.
It is pretty impressive. Yeah. Really impressive.
Yeah, no pressure, Tom. I hear you're in the England team this year, so you need to.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's finally going to be the year where Wales are too drunk to play.
To be honest, that's never been a problem before.
I know,
but at some point, everyone's got their limits.
You watch their standings. They're always like day 1 near the bottom, sober as a judge.
They're about 9.
And then as the alcohol tips up, and they go crazy.
They go out and get smashed and produce what can only be described as liquid poker on day 2.
I think they won the Europeans the year I played, if I remember rightly. I think they just win it all of them. All the time.
I mean that's just the WCOAP wins. They've also had a couple of European wins, and I think they might have had a home internationals win as well. So there was a point where we were doing home internationals and Europeans and the Worlds, and I think they pretty much won all 3 at the same time. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, the good lads, they're all Welsh as well. I mean, how have they pulled that off?
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? They only pick Welsh players for the team as well.
I'll tell you what, I've had complaints from Craig McGuinness because he's been trying for years. He can't get in the team. He's been in the pictures and everything. He just can't get in the team.
He wants the complete set, doesn't he? Yeah,
he just can't pull off a real accent.
Yeah, we are at 5 to the hour, guys. So this final table, which is now down to 6, is on a break. Ben Sweetman is the short stack now at this table with just 14 bigs, but it has kind of leveled itself out a little bit. Miroslav's got 86 bigs. Peter Denley has picked up quite nicely. He's got 85 bigs. Then Georgie on just over 50, and then Hristo and Andre. Andre being Dan's pick for the win here. Both 25 and 30 bigs. Just a little shout out that if you do want to get involved, if you want to be on one of these final tables tomorrow night, well, you can play tonight Six Max. It's event number 3, $25,000 guarantee in that one. You're going to have, I would suggest, maybe about another 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes worth of late reg in that. There's some tidy value in that event tonight. There really is. So if you want to get in there, it's not too late to get involved. $55 entry in that if you fancy going for it.
Fantastic. Do it.
Can we seriously open re-entry? Come on. Let me in.
Let Dan Williams back in on the list, please. Yeah.
Come on. Chips.
Oh, I tell you.
Would you do 43 bullets, Dan? Scott Seaver style.
No, I'm not. But then I also probably wouldn't lose to Phil Hellmuth heads up. So levels.
I mean, you say that, but everyone does, even though he's down.
Yeah, I know. He's a specialist in.
He's got the white magic.
well, he's got something. Yeah.
How are you both enjoying the World Series? It's been pretty good so far. I know there's been, obviously a lot of breakout of COVID and this, that, and the other, but numbers have been pretty impressive, and everything seems to be running reasonably smoothly, apart from a few aircon issues and the food apparently being rubbish. But
there's been a couple of dealer issues, isn't there, which has been expected. I saw Alex Goulder posted something yesterday where they got in a really weird spot where the flop had come ace queen 5, action had taken place, and the action on the flop had been closed, and then they realized that the 5 should have been the burn card, and the ruling was you burn the 5 and just put a new third card on the flop. So but the betting had already stood, which makes no real sense. But yeah,
you're going to get a little bit of that, aren't you?
Is that a case of, though, Dan, it's not just that they've got new dealers that are learning, because the World Series have got exactly the same problem that everybody else has got, but also they must have floor staff and area supervisors and whatever that are all, again, either have stepped up as dealers or whatever. They must have lost a lot of experience.
I think there's a lot of experience missing, a lot of uncertainty. I'm just having a quick look through the Millie Maker. There were some really good people to cheer on. So I see Gary Blackwood, the YouTuber from Scotland. He's got a 1.8 million chip stack deep in the Millie Maker. So there's Mike Mizraki.
And I saw we had a win, so a nice rail.
Yeah, Rob won another PLO bracelet, didn't he? He won the 50k.
Yeah. Which is nice. And it's always good. Have you seen the photo, Des?
Which one, Leigh?
So the winning photo for that was it the?
Is this where he's on the table?
No, so it's if you look behind, you've got so the towers there and
okay, no,
Alex Gould,
Chris Mormon there,
Ludo and Feraldo in there.
Ludo, yeah, Feraldo's there. It's a proper
shoe bomb rail.
Yeah,
love it.
Very, very good.
But yeah, no, the Millie Maker's got some really. I mean, how many people are left in the Millionaire
I think
Maker now?
They were like 230 coming into today, weren't there?
Yeah, there's but yeah, there's some really good names left in that actually. I was just scrolling through it there. Yeah, so Mike Mizraki, Jonas Lewick, who's a Raul Martinez, Alain Bauer. These are all like big pros that are going well. But Matt Affleck, who famously lost to Duhamel in the main event all those years ago with his aces versus jacks. Gary Blackwood, Elio Fox, Kev Houghton. He's another British player. He plays a lot on. Everybody seems to know who he is.
Yeah, well, Kev's very well known. Yeah, very well known. Yeah. Kev's played some APAT events, I think, in the past.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
Oh, quick, get your picture up there if you want.
We'll claim him anyway. It's not a problem.
If he wins, he's an APAT player.
Recreational player from the UK, yeah, APAT's own, yeah.
This is what you need now. You just need a bracelet winner from APAT to then go and win
it's all right. We've got it sorted. Agent,
we've
got it sorted. Agent Yates,
all done.
Brian Yates has sorted this for us. APAT's Todd Wood is playing the main event this year, and we're very confident that APAT's Todd Wood is going to do rather well.
That would be nice. Haven't you seen our picture of Niall Farrell on the homepage?
I have, yes.
That's just fantastic, right? WSOP, WBT, EPT, and APAT. Brilliant.
The big four.
The only quadruple winner on the planet.
When they next interview him, I'll get them to ask that question.
Oh, do please. That's fantastic.
He's such a good guy though, and he's so supportive of us. Whenever we have a catch up with him or need to connect with anything, cannot speak highly of what we do, and he's just such a grounded guy, isn't he? Really,
yeah, good lad.
Really good guy.
He's doing a documentary, isn't he?
Is he really?
Yeah, for the BBC. He's got like a film crew with him in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
And then we need
to elbow in on some of that action, Leigh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You've had some really big names play the worlds for you guys though. I remember battling Adam Owen in the 8 game.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Well, last year online during the team event, we had the Bundesliga's own Max Cruz representing Germany.
He's been going deep into some bracelet events.
Yeah. I mean, he won a medal. He's got an APAT medal set on his on his shelf,
along with whatever he's won during his football career as well. But
fantastic. I think one of our most pleasing successes, if you like, I'm trying to think of his name now. Crikey, is a US player who used to play with us when we were on Stars in season 1, and he won a few medals online with us. And then he won, like, a year or 2 years later, he won EPT London for like £750,000. I can't think of the guy's name now. I'd know it in a second if you said it, but yeah, online APAT medals, are plenty, and then bang. It's EPT London.
Was he not the guy that was sponsored by Betfair?
No.
You're thinking of? No. Okay.
No, I just can't put a name on him, which is disappointing. As I spoke to him several times, organising stuff like medals and interviews.
What was the guy? There was the guy that final tabled our first event out in Vienna that went on and won a bracelet as well, wasn't it?
Martin.
That's it.
Klosser.
Yeah.
He won a
three-way all in here. Ace Queen versus Ace King versus Jacks. And the hearts miss, and we're going to have two.
Hell.
Oh, wow. Absolute
going home.
Carnage. Miroslav, really putting the pressure on now, and busts.
So Miroslav has now earned over $1,000 in bounties. So.
Yeah, which is just insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's insanely aggressive here, though, isn't he? Fantastic play.
So we asked the guys that were on the show last night when we were watching day ones of these, what's your take on bounty comps? Do you like them? Do you think they're good for the game? Are they good for recreational players? What's your view? I think you posted up in the chat about it, Tom, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it's good. In that it means recreational players win at a higher rate because they're going to win bounties, so they lose their money less often than they would otherwise. And I think it's a bit more of an interesting format. I know Natalie was saying that she feels like the skill has been taken out of the game a bit and people are impatient, but I think that's not really a poker issue. I think that's just general people have a short attention span. And I think if it brings more people into the game and it makes the fields more interesting and there's more action, I think it's probably a good thing. I mean, because you can't just go all in with any two and win bounties. You're going to lose money still doing that. So it's not like there's no way to profit from them. It's just adapting your game a bit.
Yeah, agree. What's your thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think the ecosystem lasts longer, which is really important. And also the game's not as solved. Like if we're completely honest, like we all know now, 30, 40, 50, 60 big blind deep poker, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 handed is pretty solved. Like at the top level, and it's almost you're running at such small margins, whereas this opens up so many more sort of variables because, as Tom alluded to, a lot of people don't know what they should and shouldn't be calling off with bounties in play, and you get into these situations like now at the final table here, where, for example, Histro with 22 bigs. Will be at the short stack if the chips change slightly and Miroslav is all in and he can win that bounty. Well, actually, it's a $500 pay jump just by winning that bounty. So you need to start pushing your edge a little bit more. And if you can get into a spot where potentially you've only got 40% equity versus Miroslav's range, but it's worth $500, and that's the same as what the pay jump is. Well, actually, sometimes it's better to kind of be calling off in those spots. And I think, like you alluded to with Natalie, maybe people see that as being a little bit too loose or whatever else, but actually financially it kind of makes sense when you run the equities together. So I think it just opens up the game. Is something else to try and solve. And I really enjoy them. I think it should stop people being slugs, which is, I'm all for that. None of this folding down to 3 big blinds.
You've been on the show a few times, Andy, and occasionally you've used the term slug. For anyone that doesn't know what you mean by slug, Dan, are you able to just give a kind of a very simple definition of a slug type player?
Yeah, I suppose it originated in Cardiff. I think it was in Cardiff, APAT Cardiff, all those years ago, when we played the cash tournament that we mentioned earlier. And sadly, it was directed at Adam Sharples. Hi, Adam. I hope you're well if you're listening. In which basically we I don't know if you've ever played this format, Tom, because I don't know how long you've been playing APAT, but the cash tournament was in essence a timed cash game in which the largest stacks would progress. So obviously, there's very much a tactic you can have once you've locked up a pretty good profit in the cash game, just to kind of avoid playing any hands, which Adam did. So it kind of originated there, but slugs are just basically nits, but like nits that are bad for the game, right? Nits that don't give any action, don't even engage in banter. They just kind of sit there quietly, folding their blinds, and they got affectionately named as slugs, and yeah, it's stuck ever since. I think it was a Team Gotham thing originally, but yeah, that is a slug.
Oh dear.
It's like the worst form of being a nit.
Just apologies to Adam for that unkind description.
No.
Seeing as you'd met your cash, you'd obviously qualified to be a slug.
Well, he did. He met the cash, and then we had a chat at the table with about 5 hands left, to which because I was second, and I was like, "Are you playing the final?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm playing the final." So then I basically degenerately gambled my whole stack because I wanted to make the final, to which he then proceeded to turn around and go, "I'm not playing the final, actually." And I could have just not played any hands and been a slug and made it through to the final. But
so the joy of that format, Tom, is you could choose to cash out at any point you like. So there was
I did play it. I played it in Manchester.
Ah, cool, excellent. Okay,
and did basically the opposite to Adam, where I decided to just blast it off on the last hand, even though I probably could have qualified still. I thought,
look at Miroslav, 3 big blinds.
This now what happens here, guys? Because this is a huge. They're all in. Surely they're all in because they want this bounty, don't they?
Well,
this is massive.
But neither of them want to bust before Hristo. So, I mean, okay.
Oh, and he's won it anyway. What a hand! But I mean, this is a target now, though, isn't it? I mean, does Hristo look at this now and go, "Do you know what? I'd call this off for the chance of winning this bounty."
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. Well, it's not even just the bounty. Like if you look at his chip stack,
what's the pay jump from 4th to 3rd?
$650.
Yeah,
tricky.
You can't go too crazy.
Oh, he's going to be in trouble here, though.
Wow.
There it is.
Peter Denley is going to pick up that bounty. And Peter didn't have very many bounties before that. He had about $120 worth of bounties. So he's now got nearly 7.
He entered the final table as the short stack with 11 big blinds. And is now, 2 of 3.
So there was our favourite. Came onto the final table as chip leader, and he's gone on the
I didn't see
medal
what
bubble.
happened to put him that short, but it looked like him and Peter were getting at it. And George,
I think it was aces versus. I think it was aces versus 10s all in pre.
Okay, I mean, still for that many big blinds, I suppose they're four-handed.
I guess the phenomenal thing to say for Georgie is was chip leader coming into this day too. With 6.3 million, 80 bigs at the time, and has made a final 3. So it doesn't always work out that way, does it?
Is this Georgie G from Georgia? Wow, he had the white magic with the ace-9 call earlier, and now it's all looking good. So Hristo here now, 3-handed. I mean, he just needs
Here we go.
This is
He's got a small bounty, hasn't he? So it's not really incentive for them to call him that wide.
No. And I think you can really exploit that as well, because then you can start to pip your range down probably 2 or 3 pips more than you may want to normally, just because you know that's going to happen. And also you need to start changing adding to the there we go. Adding to the dynamic of the hands that you're never easy, is it? Look at that. You want to add into the hands that are going to run close with equity. So hands like 8-9 suited, Jack 10 suited are all going, when you have 15, 16 bigs here, are all really straightforward shoves, because that portion of the range that they could call with normally, that has you dominated, like, Queen Jack, etc. They're not incentivized to call with a lot of the time because of the small bounty. So it means you can really start to increase the shoving range in those certain kind of sections of the range itself. which is good because you just run the equity quite close, which is nice. Still got a hold though, which is hard.
Dan, do you think does Georgie play most of his poker at GG?
Probably.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Oh dear, he's here all week, folks, and
I'm
I
here all
literally
week,
mean
yeah.
he really is here all
If
week.
this is day two, if this is day two, lads, you're in for a tough end of series. Let me assure you. I'll tell you what, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. I got to bed last night at Leigh. 2 o'clock. Two a bloody clock. I was up at 6. Right, I'd done an extra. God, I'm going to say about 6 hours yesterday, preparing a presentation for El Capitano today. That was a 5-hour session. I'll tell you, I am whacked. I'm not cut out for this stuff. I need to be doing a bit of Rocky up and down the old steps in Philly.
If it makes you feel better, Des, last night I was playing, because I tend to play most Sundays, and at about 11 p.m. I was on the final 2 tables of a tournament, and I just heard this scream from upstairs from my 3-year-old boy who was refusing to go to bed. Imogen's being sick. I'm like, what? I go upstairs.
no.
I have to leave the gaze of poker, projectile all over the room,
Dude.
all over. So I spend about half an hour sorting that out. Come back to the table, like 15 left. I'm really short now. Get a couple of double ups through. We're on the final table bubble. Then I hear these tears, and it's my little boy, and he's thrown up. Seriously.
No.
And I'm like, what?
No.
Oh, here we go. Ace 3 versus 9s. So
Ace
yeah,
or
we
five.
have both of our kids with projectile vomiting bugs last night, which was fun.
Wow.
And we bubbled the final table, obviously. After all that.
Unlucky Dan. Unlucky Dan.
Nah,
But
that's
listen,
all
life wasn't as bad as the self-inflicted pain that Simon Lawler has put upon himself. Some of us were up at 5 to watch poker go. Wow. That is passion.
What was on Poker Go last night?
I'm going to say,
I'd
which
imagine
event? Don't know.
10K. Was it 10K studs last night?
Yeah, it might have been.
It's been difficult. I know they've been talking a lot about events.
Wasn't there do 7 triple draws on there? Because Kerry Katz misread his hand and
Yes,
and patted with the pair against
That's
Scott
true.
Seaver. Was that last night?
there might have been. There's been a lot of issues with PokerGo stuff, hasn't there? They've moved events, or they've put delays on events. They've turned. I've heard that they've turned live streams off midstream once one of the big, like Helmut bus, so they just turn it off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they did that though. I thought it was they couldn't stream it on the proper on the PokerGo stream because there was an issue with the RFID, and then there's like a YouTube hour that there's like a free to watch hour on YouTube or 2 hours or something, and that just ended, and it happened to be about the same time as Home was busted. So I'm not sure that's exactly what happened.
Simon says it was it's the 27 SDFT, so that's going to be the 27-handed split deck final table. 27-handed split deck final table was last night.
The single draw. I thought it was triple draw.
Yeah. So,
everybody knows, Leigh, that FT stands for full tilt.
Oh,
right, so
right,
you've got
okay,
that wrong.
fine, yeah. I'm not down with the kids with the modern poker terminology.
They've finally retired the brand, haven't they?
They have, yes, I saw that. Yeah,
finally retired.
Sad.
Should just say with this heads up, guys, they are so even on the bounties. Actually, there's literally about a couple of dollars between them on the bounties. So, and obviously the prizes for first and second pretty much is even in a bounty. So what they're playing for here now, apart from obviously the gold and silver medals, is roughly, I reckon, about what have they got? They've got $400 each on their bounty, so it'll be times 2 on that. So roughly about $1,600, I reckon. I think it's pretty much how it works.
No. It's less than that, isn't it? Isn't it 1,200? Because if Giorgio knocks out Peter, he wins the 400 of Peter's. His bounty will go then to sort of half of that will get added onto his, right? Is that right?
Yeah, but what's on the screen isn't the full what you get. I think when your heads up, I think you add together the 2 that are there and double it. I'm pretty sure it's 800.
I thought it was it might be. I thought it was 1.5. But anyway, it's irrelevant. It's going to be about $1,000.
It's over it. Yeah, so they're playing for well over $1,000.
Yeah, I think it's if you win, it's double your bounty plus the opponent's bounty.
Okay,
So
all right. So in this case, 1.5 then.
I think.
Nice. There you go, guys. Right, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that?
Oh, full
tilt.
Dot poker.
Oh yeah, have you got it?
Yeah.
You bought it.
Look at that. It's free.
You bought it. Buy it
$9.
Buy it up,
$9.
Les.
You can tell people you own Full Tilt Poker.
Do it.
I bought a couple of Ethernet domain names a couple of months back, and I found out that one of the ones that I bought, which is let's play poker.eth, is now worth, it's not a lot, it's worth like $300, but I paid about $3 for it. So that was quite a nice.
What's the difference between those and any other domains, or is it just literally another?
Well, it's just a domain name that's works on, in the world of Ethereum. So you can basically add wallets to it. You can add
is that
websites
Ethereum? Is that where Hogwarts and stuff is, or what?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Okay. Or Ethereum? Is the Ethereum where He-Man was from?
No. You've got it all wrong, Leigh. What you need to do is to get an Ethereum cable, right?
Oh, right.
Saves on the Wi-Fi. Right,
Yeah,
get
okay.
that directly
I think
into
you
your
needed
laptop.
one of those, Des, didn't you?
I'll tell you, I've got one of them. It doesn't work. Price keeps going down. It's shocking.
So they're back pretty much even stacks, as well. So
no.
No. George's we're way ahead. Actually,
George
sorry,
it
just hadn't upped it up. So
I'll tell you what, guys. I don't know if you've noticed this. It's slightly concerning, but when he's holding his hole cards, right? Georgie reminds me of the shaman guy. Do you remember that hit the Capitol on the 6th of January? Just watch. There you go. Do you see what I mean? It's he's holding a couple of big placards. Trump in.
Yeah, make poker great again. Let's do it.
Some of our greatest shows, Leigh, right there.
Absolutely.
Perhaps the only ones.
We went massively downhill when Trump left. Honestly, we had nothing to talk about. It was
outrageous,
very boring. Yeah, to say the least. So 2-1 chip lead for Georgia here. But obviously it can change quite dramatically. But just what do you do here in this position, guys? Just keep applying pressure, not. Does it, do you want to give your opponent any sort of angle to get back in here, or do you just always keep applying pressure, making them have to make the decisions?
Peter seems to have been fairly aggressive from what I've seen. So, I mean, you don't have to do anything. I don't think you have to change really what you're doing. If it's working, then you might as well carry on until he gets kind of to a stack size where the dynamic's going to change. There's going to be more shoving and stuff. Then I would probably just keep doing the same thing he's been doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think when you're like for Georgie G or Gina G over here on the left, bet sizing is really interesting. Heads up, he's been opting for like 66% on flops, quite a lot. Irrelevant of the texture, which I mean, personally, I think it's probably too big. I think when you've got a chip lead like this and you're just wanting to chip away, you can really ramp up your aggression and take down a lot of uncontested pots, but you just need to risk a lot less chips because Peter's in a spot where he can't defend too wide because of his stack size. So therefore, for Georgie, if you're putting chips in and you're going to get raised, you want to, and you'll get, and you're at it, quote unquote, then you want to be getting away as cheaply as possible.
Decision for Peter there, and let's it go. Should just say registration has closed on event number 3, the Six Max. We've ended up with 352 runners, so there's going to be a nice bit of value in that. So hang on in there, Tom.
Yeah, I just lost most of my stack, unfortunately.
Oh, Tom, unlucky, my friend.
But that is going to pay out just over $4,000 up top to the winner of that tomorrow night.
So we're going to be covering that from 9 o'clock tomorrow night, Leigh, right? I think that's going to be a pretty exciting one.
I tell you, 9 o'clock, we might already be on the final table at 9 o'clock. We'll have to keep an eye on it, I think, tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Quite possibly that could be the case, but we'll see. We've got Natalie Bromley back on tomorrow night. Yeah. So
Leigh, tomorrow, bless its cotton socks, the rail strikes and stuff will be a WFH day. So, if we want to go out at 8 o'clock or even earlier, from my point of view, totally fine.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow to see what's happening. Because they did play quite quick today from 8 o'clock.
Yeah, sure did.
But we'll know how many players are coming back, so we'll have a good idea tomorrow as to how it's going to play.
Limit Hold'em tomorrow, isn't it? Limit Hold'em.
Yes, for those that enjoy the experience that is, fixed limit Hold'em. Get cracking with that tomorrow night.
Are you playing that, Dan?
I mean, maybe, probably.
Slug.
No, it's like it is the game of all slugs, right?
Yeah. How can you bluff?
Well,
You have to call one big blind into like 10.
1,000.
So
to be fair, it's two absolute crackers tomorrow night because it's the limit Hold'em that Dan just mentioned, and then we've got a PL08 knockout comp as well. So
yeah, I'm more inclined to probably play that than the limit Hold'em. Yeah, I don't hate myself enough to play limit Hold'em tournament. I don't think
it does get a reasonable number of players we put one on once a week, and it does get a consistent level of players that decide to give it a go. So
I'll tell you, Leigh, I see Simon's out there. Are the structures out for live WCOAP yet? But before we answer that, while talking about the limit Hold'em tomorrow, I'd imagine that's the type of event that Simon would look forward to. I remember he and Derek Rowland, good mate, of course, would be playing all of those games at WCOAP. Just rocking up really early, getting in this seat, away we go. You playing that tomorrow night, Simon? Do let us know. Carl says, rather poke a shitty stick in my eye than play limit Hold'em. That was a cracker.
And in answer to the other structures out yet, that's with Tom, and I believe he's kind of got them. So I think he's going to post them up any day now, just so you can see what's going on. Although the starting stacks and clocks, I think, are already up online.
Yeah, there was some interesting chat on the thread, wasn't there, about the structures. I think that we're at Dusk Till Dawn. The structures are never going to be terrible. And I'd imagine they're probably going to run somewhere similar to like the 500 deep stacks and stuff, which is good enough for us for the rake that we're paying. I think
it will be good structure. Simon said not planning to play the fixed tomorrow. We might need to cancel that, Leigh. Right, we haven't got any runners unless I satellite in. So he might satellite in. I hope so.
Yeah, well, there's still generic satellites running daily if you want to get in with a $55 ticket, and then normally a couple of hours before each of the events, there's some specific variants.
Yeah, the problem with that, Leigh, is you need about a week before the event to play a limit Hold'em satellite to get in. Yeah. Like late reg will be finished by the time anybody gets their ticket.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Limit Hold'em flip and go satellite for the
let's get 47 in. Let's do
it. They're really popular, those.
But that's the only way you can play it.
Yeah, I like it.
That would be a great tournament, like Siva did. Like round one is a flip and go, and then you end up in limit Hold'em for the rest of the tournament. It's like you get the absolute degeneracy and then the absolute knitting.
Well, I saw Barry Carter post up on Twitter today an idea for a comp, which was something along the lines of it's a bounty bracelet comp where one of the bounty envelopes is the bracelet, and to qualify for the day 2 to get into the bounty phase, it's a flip and go.
Love it. What's not to like?
That to me is pure skill. That's how you win a WSOP bracelet. Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you what, that sounds pretty exciting, Leigh. But for my money, the event that we've got to see in next year's schedule is indeed the rather poke a shitty stick in my eye, don't play limit Hold'em. That's a $55 comp if ever I saw one.
Yeah, chips are flipped here now, and Peter's just got a little bit of a chip lead over Georgie.
Is there an all in there, or is he just chipped up?
I didn't see whether it was a double through. I think it must have been a double through because he was down to about 50 odd bigs, so that would make sense.
Well, it seems like it might double twice because I think it was like 25 at one point.
Okay, yeah.
What do we think about this? So this is really interesting. So Georgie's been making anything between 2x and 4x on the button, and then just bets.
Oh, it's happening here, guys. It is happening.
Yeah, it's really quickly as well.
If this isn't
that was super quick, wasn't it? That was
that was like he'd already decided what he's doing. If that isn't aces, then I don't know what is. And then what the hell?
I get the feeling we're going to see it here now,
Here
are we?
we go.
Surely.
What the hell is?
I've got Peter on a diamond draw here, surely, and he's gone to see another card.
He's got to go with it though. If he's got the right
if
price now.
If you've got a diamond draw on the
And
turn,
he covers as well. So
I think he could be on ace. I think he could be on ace jack.
You're calling if you ace jack, you're calling this. You're calling this.
He can't. I don't think he has ace jack because he doesn't 3-bet pre-flop. So I think he'd 3-bet pre-flop heads up. So he can have hands like 8s or 9s maybe, although arguably they 3-bet pre-flop. So maybe it's like
ace king,
jack 10.
Did he? I thought
ace king.
He doesn't.
Ace king. Wow.
Wow.
He just calls off ace king on the turn there.
Wow. And this could be over very quickly now. But he's hit an ace, so he's going to have one more shot at this. But he's only got just under 8 bigs.
Wow. Tough decision, guys, or should he let that go?
He should have followed the turn.
Yeah.
That is going to be it.
Oh! Bloody hell. Wow.
And there we go. Gina G is the champion.
I think when Georgie
I've just looked at the bounties, guys. I don't like to say I was right, but yeah, they were playing for $1,600 there because they both had 700 odd, and Georgie's ended up with 2,300 in bounties. So it's actually scooped just over $5,000 from the tournament. Absolutely superb performance.
Sweet. Listen, Simon says insane aggressive. It was aggressive there at the end. John Sibley's joined us. Evening, APATers. Evening to you, John. Wow, that's us done, Leigh.
And we've ended up there, Des, with the chip leader going into day 2, scooping the gold. So very well done. So we've got a gold medal heading to Georgie from Georgia, and we have a gold medal heading to Artem in Kazakhstan. It's not a bad start to a WCOAP, is it really?
That sounds pretty international.
Do you sometimes get like random emails from these people going, I didn't even realize this was a medal event. I didn't know what APAT was. They've just seen it in the lobby at $55. They've played it. And then all of a sudden they get this shiny medal in the post.
I've had last year. I had a number of those where people were like, "Oh, there's a medal," because we contact them to get address details, and they're like, "Oh, didn't realize there was a medal." What's even nicer is what you then get when you send them the medal and they get it, because they will normally send back, because again, it's not what they're expecting, because they think it'll be a little, not very much of anything. But of course, these medals are pretty chunky beasts of a medal, and they're genuinely just like, wow, this is amazing, and want to play more.
I think you can't underestimate either the amount of coverage that we're getting on Party Poker. So being across the top of the homepage, the tab in the lobby, the table branding, all of that stuff. And of course, if anybody goes to Google and types in APAT, they're going to find us. So I think probably a high percentage do know us now. And of course, a lot of these guys have been playing with us for months and months and months. They just keep coming back. You wouldn't expect them to be playing with us all the time, but they are. So it's rather strange, but nice at the same time.
So what we've got going then is, so we've got the Six Max going. I'm not going to bring Tom's table up and us potentially bock him. I want to let him actually have a fair crack of the whip at this one. But I can just having a quick look who we've got in that. So we've got 108 runners of the 352 left in. I can see one Simon Brook is still in there with chips. I can see
Silver.
Adam Bromley is back playing again tonight after a decent cash in making the day 2 today. So he's having another go at events before they head over to Vegas. Tom is sat currently 50th out of 108 remaining at the moment. Carl Guinness is there as well. Who else have we got? Eddie Nexu has got chips. Richard Baker, but not our Richard Baker, the Canadian Richard Baker. He's in there and has got chips as well. Let's see if anybody I recognise right on the first page. Liam Piggott, Alex Montgomery. Mentioned Alex last night. Won the tag team in Manchester a few years back, and I think might have also won another event that year as well. He's currently 12th in chips. Yeah, so plenty of players going in there. So what the plan is obviously we'll that'll play through till about 1 o'clock, and we'll be back to do all of this again with the day 2 of that tomorrow.
Superb. Saw Cody Wagner on page 1 there as well.
Oh, is he really?
Leigh.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
quite
yeah,
a
good
few
spot.
of them in there. Could be
Yeah, good
interesting
spot.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I guess with that, we should say best of luck to Tom through the rest of this tourney. Thank you to you and Dan for joining us tonight. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing more of you during the week and a bit. And we're going to be back tomorrow. I mean, we're scheduled for 9, but I suspect we might get out a bit earlier. So just keep an eye on the Facebook group and we'll confirm there. So that is us, guys. Have a great rest of evening.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers all.